This is the moment just before it happened. A moment frozen. At least the memory of a moment. Memories have a habit of distorting themselves. This is me, Lara Morel, 26 years old, hardworking daughter of immigrants, graphic designer. Well, studying to be. At this time, I was working on my boring-ass thesis. Fun fact, my name is actually a palindrome. Lara Morel, the same backwards and forwards, endlessly mirroring itself. I guess it's kind of appropriate. This is my boyfriend, Axel, a few years older than me, manager of a hotel bar. He would always tell people he was the manager of the entire hotel, not just the bar. He would say, "Hi, I'm Axel, I'm the manager of a hotel," and would always leave out the word bar at the end of the sentence. That's just what he always did. He was wearing that shirt that his mother bought him. I hated that shirt. Slimy material, just trashy. Maybe if we could change it? There. Much better. We met through a mutual friend that happened to be an AI dating algorithm. In his profile, he said he loved reading books. But I guess that must have been before he met me because I never once saw him read a book. He had books, he just never read them. Maybe he found me so interesting that he didn't need any external entertainment, except for TV and video games and those websites he visited in incognito mode that he thought I didn't know about, the ones where I'd say, "What are you looking at?" And he'd quickly make a tiny surprised face before puffing out his cheeks and would say, "Boring work stuff." So boring that it caused a bulge in his pants that not even a subtly placed forearm could hide. The bulge. We named it Buddy. Buddy the Bulge. That's what couples do, they name things. It seems kind of corny now when I think about it, but back then it was funny. Sexy. That funny, sexy feeling you only get when you've been with someone for a while, when the novelty has worn off and everything now seems so familiar, and with familiarity comes the ironic sense that what used to be sexy is now kind of funny, because sexiness is like 80% mystery. So now you have to give the formerly sexy thing an alliterative name and a dirty personality and carry out some convoluted roleplay with a dumb baby voice before you can use it for its original purpose. Anyway, this is Buddy the Bulge. Not one of the larger species of the bulge genus, it has to be said. Maybe if we can... Perfect. I'd been working on my thesis, designing a new logo for Axel's bar. He wanted a complete rebrand. He'd even come up with a new name, The Firmament. I thought it was kind of pretentious, but I never told him. He wanted it to be a destination bar, his words, where people would travel from all over town to try out their signature cocktails. He'd hire some hipster art school dropouts with tons of followers, give them roles such as chief mixologist, and put them to work creating variations on classics. He was convinced it would be a hit, despite the hotel being in kind of a shady area, and despite the guests there being the loneliest, saddest men on the planet. I went there once. I saw a woman hiding behind the dumpsters in the parking lot. I'd been working on the logo, but I knew it wasn't what he wanted. There was always something that was wrong, something that had to be tweaked. We're both perfectionists in our own way, and it bugged me that I couldn't get it right. I guess that's why I lashed out. Well, it's one of the reasons. I hadn't done anything like this before, I swear. It was completely out of character. I'm normally a chilled out kind of gal, but that night, it was an explosion. A volcano. There was just so much hot, burning lava inside of me that just needed to get out. I can't remember what time it was. It's weird, everything else is pretty clear. It must have been late since he'd come back from work, but not too late since he was still wearing that shirt. The one his mom thought made him look like a champion businessman. It's funny how mothers view their sons, like through a distorted prism, like on a really happy acid trip. Maybe that's their secret. All moms with sons are secretly taking copious amounts of acid just to get through it all. He'd come back from work and he was pissed. You could tell he was pissed because that big old jaw of his was super tense, twitching. He didn't speak. He didn't want to use that big old jaw of his to speak, just to twitch. It was his way of controlling himself, tensing up, being all stiff and rigid. A bit like now, I guess. After like the 10th time of asking, "What's wrong, honey?" he eventually said, "It's all your fault," and went on about how his boss hated the idea of the rebrand and that the name was kind of pretentious, and it must have been the sketches I'd done that put him off because the idea was definitely solid. And all the way through his raging, I felt awful, like I'd ruined his one big chance to make an impression at work, maybe progress from hotel bar manager to something a bit more significant within the company. And I was trying to calm him down by saying the idea was definitely solid and the name was definitely not pretentious, when he suddenly shrugged me off and stopped raging and looked at me and said, "Mom was right. I should have never gotten with you. You're always holding me back with your lack of talent." So I lashed out. Out came all that hot lava, and I slapped him hard in that big old jaw of his with that chin that looks like a midget's butt cheeks. But wait, this isn't the moment I'm talking about. The moment frozen. The moment that's been repeating itself inside my mind all this time. Endlessly mirroring itself. This is before that moment. A few minutes before. Before I went into the kitchen to gather my thoughts. Gather all my thoughts up, pack them all up into a dense ball, and then figure out what to do with them. I thought about all the voice notes he sent me over the years. They all followed a pattern. Start off sweet, some kind of obscure compliment. Beep, "Hey sweetie, I was just thinking about your voice. You've got such a cute accent. It's like all your family's history, all that hard-working immigrant history is squeezed into that cute little accent of yours." But then it would turn sour, picking on something I'd done, like I'd used the wrong kind of fabric softener that day, so he spent the whole day itchy as hell, even though it was the same kind of fabric softener I'd always use. I think it's even the same one his mom uses. I thought about how he'd make me change outfits every time we were about to go out. How that top made me look fat, that skirt made me look slutty. He'd stand outside the bedroom door until I changed, like he was on guard or something, like he wouldn't let me out unless... I thought about all those times we were in bed making love, all those conversations with Buddy the Bulge. How Buddy wanted it this way, he didn't like that position. "Axel, come on, it hurts." And he'd be like, "Lara, don't ruin the moment. Don't ruin the mystery. You can be so unsexy sometimes." And then he'd continue as Buddy with that dumb baby voice, and I'd just lie there and let him do whatever. And then I thought about my own bulge, here. Or at least the one that should have been here. The one he made me remove. Look, this is what it should have looked like at this time. But no, it never materialized. He had his bar, he had his dream. I wasn't gonna mess it up. And then I thought about all the bruises on my body. The ones that are covered up. The ones that you can't see, no matter which angle you look at me. I came out the kitchen, and I guess he was still a bit shocked and disoriented, and, well, this is it. The moment frozen. Like I said, memories have a habit of distorting themselves. I'm okay though. I have no idea what happened next. This is all I know. The only world in which I exist. Lara Morel, 26 years old. Hardworking daughter of immigrants. Graphic designer. Expectant mother. My whole life ahead of me.